form one of the most popular piece of music in Asia, especially in Asian heritage.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Friend or Foe Esports, Week 4, Day 1 of our Helios League. And heading right into game number 1 of the night, on the blue side, we have Team Beep Boop, and facing them on the red side, we have Art of War Esports. We've got some exciting games for you all, as tonight's games are going to be the last of the first round robin. Starting tomorrow, we'll be kicking off the back half of the regular season with rematches. Will AWE claim their first win of the split, or will Baby continue to hold their place as one of the top 2 teams? Bringing you the voices behind tonight's cast, my name is Whirler, and alongside me tonight, we have Found.
Oh, absolutely. It's so good to be here as always. You know, Mondays seem to be my day, so it does make the beginning of the week way better than what I'm used to. As Team B Poop is going to start off with the Volibear pick. I mean, I'm not surprised that Daskis is continuing to take this. It does seem to be one of the best junglers in the meta. And when we do see the Volibear, we do expect dives, so I'm very happy to at least get that type of early pressure into a team where you don't want to get complacent and throw an elite.
Very true. And we got the next 2 picks for Art of War Esports coming up here very soon. Jaffe on the Volibear looking like it's a pretty scary pick, I will agree with you. I love seeing, there's the difference between just seeing a Volibear and seeing someone who, has mastered Volibear. That really would scare me. And speaking of things to be scared of in this game, one of the best AD carries by far, way too broken right now. We got a Jinx from Arcane.
Will they use the Arcane Jinx skin? We
will
find out later. I would hope not. It actually is one of the worst skins in the game. It's basically just like a texture update. But either or, I mean, with Trundle being locked in, this is definitely a pressure pick into the Volibear. You do get to take away those tank stats. I mean, Volibear doesn't generally get those super high resistances or from either armor or magic resist. He's not a champion that has inbuilt synergy with that. So, Trundle's an interesting champion. I'm surprised to see come out so early.
It's not so much of a counter pick as much as it is just sort of a pick for themselves, as well as Volibear is going to have resistances regardless, so it is something to steal. And plus, I'm pretty sure the Trundle with the Jinx, it's a little more peel with the pillar. If the pillar is used correctly in team fights, it's a little more peel for Jinx to play around. Because Jinx, when attacking someone slowed, is just not fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Trundle did used to be a staple of old school poke comps. I mean, when you had the Jace, the Nidalee, those really long range compositions, Trundle was even picked in the support role to kind of round those out because the pillar is so good, especially against immobile champions like the Ashe. Solid lane coming out in Ashe Thresh is a very typical bot lane that we saw basically about a season and a half ago every game, and now with Ashe returning back, who was nerfed quite heavily, but she's still trying to get her legs under her, and she is finally hopping back into the meta.
Definitely so. Jinx Nautilus versus Ashe Thresh. That is, see, the Ashe pick you wouldn't expect it as much, but with the Thresh pick, it honestly can be a little more aggressive than Ashe's normally could. With that being said, we got a bloody bot lane going on here in the in game number 1 of the night, which is not usual to see such a bloody bot lane. It is very poke heavy on the blue side. Ashe Thresh very poke trade. Meanwhile, Nautilus Jinx very all in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jinx and Nautilus are going to need to be able to have a lot of pressure in the slate from the kill threat because they do get poked out quite heavily. Double range is very hard to play against. Plus, his Ashe is his innate laning phase ability. She is one of the stronger laning AD carries. So nice to see that taken away. And with the bans hopping back over, Cassiopeia and Gangplank. So the Jaffe Gangplank special and the Cassiopeia being taken away is definitely surprising because neither side has taken solo laners yet. So they're really trying to pinch these laners.
I mean, the Volibear could be flexed in the top lane. It's still a flex pick nonetheless. Honestly, same with the Trundle pick. You could throw them in one of 2 different directions. It's not set in stone, though, especially with these bans coming out. Getting Jaffe's Gangplank out of there as quick as possible. Not something you want to see Jaffe on. You want to call out that that's going to be the Volibear jungle. That being said, Jace being hovered for Art of War Esports, very solid top laner in the meta right now, and it is locked in.
Oh, throwing down the gauntlet with the NA Jace player, seeing if Min has it in the back pocket to play such an aggressive champion. Now, this does indicate that they are going to be trying to play heavily around this chop side and kind of want the Jinx to just be a stand-in for any AD carry, farming safely, but that's really dangerous to do against an Ashe Thrust. It's a long-range engage from the arrows. It can be very difficult to sit underneath that tower if that's going to be the plan. So I do hope that they're picking this Jace with the intent to play heavily around it.
Absolutely. Please pick Echo mid so that we can finalize, some arcane casting going on here for Art of War Esports. It's going to be Tryndamere matching that Jace pick, which honestly shuts down Jace a little bit post 6, but pre 6, I feel like Jace takes the cake in that.
Absolutely, Jace is one of the very good matchups into Tryndamere early. I mean, Tryndamere does still be able to scale into it very much. Plus, there's a lot of sustain onto Tryndamere, so Jace does have to play extremely aggressively to prevent Tryndamere from getting access to those waves to constantly build up Fury to provide his healing. But, I mean, this is a skill matchup, but I think this should be Jace favored, and Min should be able to take it. With Corki being taken away, this is such a traditional composition that we've been seeing so much in both competitive and in FOF, with Corki being round out pick, and this is going to give Seaborg the opportunity to get a pretty decent counter. Corki is very counterable if you do have the matchups into it.
And the counter pick is going in about 15 seconds. We'll see what they want to lock in into the Corki. There's a few good things that are up right now, one of them being the Veigar. Could be a decent pick with their team, could provide a lot more peel with that cage for Jinx. Who knows exactly what they're going to be locking in, but it is peel enough. It's going to be a Lissandra into the Corki.
Yeah, I mean, the Freljord are definitely getting their representation from the lore right now.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, quick fun fact, Ashe and Tryndamere are actually canonically married. They did not like each other when they got married, but they grew to like each other afterwards, apparently, as the lore is kind of vague on that. But that is what they say. So a lot of Freljordian champions, especially with the Violet taking take. So I'm surprised that Lissandra is going to be the selection. She hasn't really been seeing a lot of play recently. Very slow ramp-up time, and her burst hasn't been the greatest. Once the AP items were kind of nerfed to provide more survivability than just raw AP. So this is interesting. I do think Art of War has a lot of options, and if they are able to get Min off the ground, that's going to be a really good boon for them.
Absolutely. Very, very, very solid draft for game 1 of the night. Excited to see where this goes. I'm putting my bet on Art of War Esports just to see the 1-6 comeback. What do you think?
I am against gambling, and but if I were a gambling man, I would say Art of War is a bad investment. So I'm gonna go with Team B Boop and say that they're gonna continue in their winning ways, and they've just been playing so well. And frankly, they have a composition that's just easier to execute.
Absolutely, and we're heading into game number 1 of the night, ladies and gentlemen. And as these teams fan out onto the Rift, I do want to go ahead and quickly promote our magazine, FOF's very own FOF Connect, where you can find recaps of games played in the last week. You can find scouting reports by Jiaoshi. You can find power rankings and our official leaderboard of the top performers of the UB, brought to you by our very own UB's Jeff God Gamer and Utility Monster. It's called Jeff Stats, and it's pretty great. You can find this magazine by scrolling down to the bio of the stream or at www.ffesports.com/press. We hope you enjoyed as much as we enjoy making it, and we're going to get right into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. On that same note, there's a lot of effort and work that FOF does to make these players have every option to both improve and be able to showcase their talents in a competitive environment. So please, if you're sitting here watching for free, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, treat Chris's pockets to some green, and make everything. More money means more higher production quality for everybody involved.
Definitely so. And it's going to be the start of the game. Bot side leashes on both sides. And it is going to be a pretty slow beginning to the game, I would have to predict. I wouldn't imagine most of these 1v1s and 2v2s going too ham or maybe in the top lane, actually. I take that back. Min with the ranged top laner is going to be a little hard for Jaffe to deal with post level 3, or pre-level 3 rather, and he's going for the E level 1. Min did take a little bit of minion damage there, is going to have to flash, busted out the ignite from Jaffe. It's going to be that's going to be just what that is, though. Still has the flash on Jaffe, though. Go on.
Yeah, Min getting punished really heavily early, just tanking a bunch of minion aggro. You have to kind of hover in and out with those early autos onto Tryndamere, or just keep him off the wave entirely. So just a slight mechanical mistake, getting punished and burning the flash. But for a champion like Jace to have flash down so early, I mean, he's just going to be in the potential to be punished is going to be so heavy, especially with Volibear already pathing to that side.
Definitely so. Antunes disrespecting Oriri a little bit with that level 2. Just standing perfectly in place, just dancing, having a little bit of fun here in this bot lane. Oriri respecting it, not going to throw the hook, because that would have been a guaranteed hook if he wanted to. Is not going to result in just anything. Mid lane looking pretty clean so far. What do you think so far about these picks, and who do you feel like... Oh, well, give me just 1 second, actually. We got Dax coming up into the top lane. Min has no flash, is going to be going down here, trying to trade with Jaffe, though. He's going to eat Dax off a little bit, stalling his death, hoping Crims can get there in time, is not able to. First blood is going to go into the hands of Dax.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this is the disaster for Min. The wave's going to be pushing away from him, even though they are going to opt to shove it in now. But they should just freeze this and allow this wave to continue to push in and let Jace be in under permanent pressure. Because as long as that flash is down, there's not going to be anything real that Trundle is going to be able to do to provide much assistance. So that early blunder has really cost Min.
Definitely has sparked a little bit of a tussle in the mid or in the top side crab over fighting over that, but it looks like Baby has picked that one up with ease. Tier on the Jace is going to go for the Man Immune, one of the best items in the game right now. Yon Yon taking a little bit of poke, getting flayed backwards, taken very low. Riri taken to about half, trading as best as they can.
Yeah, and this is kind of the way the Thresh Nautilus matchup goes. Thresh is a stronger laner in general, unless Nautilus is consistently landing hooks onto the AD carry. Just the double range combo plus the damage from Thresh is very good in these trades. And with Yon Yon kind of getting pressured out at this point, you do expect him to fall a decent bit behind in CS if he doesn't get outright dived here.
This is very true. Jaffe going in for the trades, though. Going to get a good trade on Jaffe. Take half of his HP for free. Jaffe, though, with a 15 CS lead, and it's about to amount to some more because he's got some minions piling up here as he's trying to freeze it. It's not looking too good so far for Min.
Yeah, the CS lead is going to be a big problem. Plus, the wave is still shoving into him because of how many autos he's put onto the wave. So, Jaffe's going to be very happy collecting this up. And unless a dive is going to come through, which Crimson is nowhere near close, this is really difficult to actually punish this Tryndamere, who's getting a free farm lane in a lane where he really has no business.
That is very true. You wouldn't really expect it to go as such, but it really has. He hasn't even recalled just yet. Still sitting at about full HP still. It's crazy.
Yeah, the sustain from Doran Shield and that Bloodlust passive is just way too good. Once Jace gets under the push, we can't constantly be trading and really shove the Tryndamere off the wave. There's just no way to stop that sustain. As soon as a dash in, and good knockback from Min.
Very good. Preventing something really terrible from happening because Min is out of potions himself.
Yep, double potions already burned. Constantly just going to be able to get pressured on. The spin is going to be there also. I mean, he's going to need to be really, really concerned because he can just get straight up dived at level 6.
Speaking of which, we got a flash from Dax going on to Seaborg. Seaborg taken very low. Does have the ulti, but opts not to use either flash nor ulti to help get himself out of there. Antunes chasing off Crims off his chickens is going to get pinned to the wall by the pillar. Isn't going to amount to anything, but that is going to result in Lissandra going down.
Yeah, good first roam from Team Beboop, getting there early and actually getting the pressure out onto the mid lane. But, I mean, when this situation occurs and there isn't really any avenues in, the side lanes are going to be quite vulnerable. And picking Lissandra with losing side lanes is really detrimental to how she wants to play the map.
Definitely so. Tryndamere getting his first back in after pushing the wave. 20 CS up so far on Min. Is looking pretty good up in this top lane.
Yeah, Jace is behind, Jinx is behind. The ultimate's going to be coming in from Luru soon, so this is going to be even more pressure onto the Jinx. She does have the cleanse, so good summoner spell choice onto that one. Both cleanse the R and the hook from Thresh, but I mean, this matchup isn't going to get any easier anytime soon. And with Dax being so far ahead, you have to be concerned that you're going to be able to be dived at level 6 from this jungle coming down.
That is very true. Dax taking the third crab of the game, is making his way over to his camps on the bot side. Dragon is up. They do have the pressure to be able to do it. They're going to opt to wait for a little bit and just get some vision on the enemy jungle for now. As Hex Dragon is the first dragon up. What do you think Soul's going to be? We have more options to predict now. It's not just 4 dragons nowadays.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a mountain, but here comes a gank mid.
Oh, I've seen this before, but this time it's on the opposite side. Seaborg putting the ulti on P-Sweezy. P-Sweezy taking the 3-man this time around, and that's going to be another 3-man gank in the mid lane, resulting in AWE's first kill of the game. And they're going to pressure Dragon with that, actually. They do have numbers with Jace being down here as well.
Yep, good punish on the cleanseless Corki. Not enough tenacity to get away from that early gank, and smart on Min to actually rotate down. He knows he's not going to be able to catch that wave top lane until it's frozen. Jaffe has now elected to push it out, but I mean, this Tryndamere is so far ahead at the moment. He can dive the Jace very easily under tower just in the 1v1 with the R available, so it's going to be really smart or really necessary for Min to play his ranges and not get too much pressure onto this Tryndamere.
They do end up getting the first drag of the game. Hex Dragon is going into AWE. It's looking a lot closer than we'd expect. Only 2k gold up so far. Most of that lead is in Tryndamere's pocket. But in the bot lane, they're being ganked by Dax, getting ultied on. Yon taken very low is going to be able to go down to Luru, followed by Oriri, picking up a quick double for the AD carry.
And absolutely, hook lands, Flay's just going to be there, flash comes out from Oriri, just nothing is going to be able to be done. And Yon smart on his part to not elect the flash. There was no way he was escaping. And I mean, Dax is just kind of running the map, going where he pleases, and he's now gotten kills in every single lane.
That is very true. This man is all over the map, and every single time he's touched his grace on someone's lane, it has resulted in a kill. This time, too, for Baby's bot lane. Luru and Antunes sitting 2 kills and 10 and 5 CS up on AWE so far. It's a little closer than in other lanes, but still a solid lead, especially with the plate.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the bleeding is definitely there already, though, with how much pressure is coming out in these solo lanes. That's not getting any easier. This is just going to be Jaffe looking for it.
Oh, flash for flash. Jaffe is going to tower dive. Does have Undying Rage if he needs it, but he's going to opt to not. He's going to let him survive that one. No TP on Min still. Is not going to be able to get back to the lane in time to get this wave. This is a lot of XP that he's missing. Jaffe's already a level and a half ahead of Min, which is incredible. 3 plates as well. Jaffe is just controlling the top lane kingdom.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that was definitely a case of him letting him live. Min was for sure dead with that spinning slash coming back up, and the ultimate also going to be there for Tryndamere. But Jaffe intelligently, not knowing where Trundle was, didn't want to give a straight kill over. That's a lot of shutdown gold that could be used to come back into the game. So smart onto his part, as this is going to be another gank mid.
Ooh, self-ulti from Seaberg is going to put P-Sweezy in a little bit of a pickle with that slow. 3 people in the mid lane again is going to be able to pick that up. Dax starting the Rift Herald on the opposite side. They're looking to trade that objective for that kill. P-Sweezy taking a little bit of pressure, but will Baby be able to use this Rift for something better? Most likely.
I mean, absolutely. And P-Sweezy once again getting punished. You're gonna I mean, he just kind of has to be more conservative with his positioning. This laning phase is really difficult for him to navigate if Lissandra's able to just go on him with Restless Abandon. I mean, it is good on his part that the goal isn't going on to anyone. Now Luru's going to be in a bit of trouble.
Definitely so. Luru, 3 people in the bot lane hovering around. Could get dove here. Does have flash and heal and ultimate to expend. They're not pulling the trigger just yet. Antunes has returned. They don't know of his whereabouts, but they do with Dax's blue plant. Is going to result in both ultis being thrown onto him. Dax is going to be able to pick up the stun. They're going to give it over to Luru. And Crims is going to go down for free.
Yep, Killing Spree already onto the Ashe, who is really on her way to having an impactful mid game. And Ashe is one of those champions that kind of does need to play from ahead. She's not the highest DPS AD carry you can have. The Q has a very slow ramp up. And with P-Sweezy kind of be the only one who's been punished, and this is not enough of an opening to really provide that many avenues in, as now the Rift Arrow is going to come. They're just going to elect to break this bot lane tower.
And I'd like to take a moment and touch light on something I said when this game started that I was completely wrong about. This has turned into a very early bloodbath.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you could not have predicted that the lanes were going to go the way that they were. I mean, kind of err on the side of everything's played optimally, so it's going to come to even, as Jaffe is going to be looking for this mid lane gank. But yeah, if everything was navigated evenly, there wouldn't really have been that many avenues in, but just really good laning from the side of the solo lanes and the bot lane from Team Beep-Boop that just outplaying their opponent so far.
Very much so. And with that being said, AWE losing a bot tower 5k gold lead mounted for Beep Boop. It is looking pretty grim for AWE here on the last game of their first round robin. They still have hope. It's not over just yet. They do have ways that they can get themselves back into this game. And after this second dragon that comes up here in 40 seconds, one of these, or actually I'd say one of these teams, can you take a guess who is going to get objective bounties?
Well, I mean, it is a 50-50 shot, so I think I have a decent chance of getting it right. It does appear to be so that this is going to be headed very heavily into the side of Team Art of War Esports' pockets if they are able to get these objective bonuses over. But, I mean, they just have no pressure in any of these lanes. It's going to be very difficult to even hit these towers to even try to punish.
With Infernal Dragon coming up in 10 seconds, AWE playing around the wrong side of the map, Dax and friends are going to just make their way to that Infernal Dragon, and AWE are going to trade top lane turret for it, which is not a terrible trade if uncontested, and it looks to be so, with Jaffe chilling in the mid lane, is going to make his way up top. Is going to try to contest the three people, chilling up in the top lane, looking to push that one in. They're not going to be able to get anything off of that here just yet, but we do have a pause here on the game right before the dragon. That's unfortunate for Dax, who was getting ready to just smite that, but we'll see in just a quick second exactly what happened and when the pause will...
Yep, there's no reason to be super concerned. It looks like there is a tornado warning, so a player safety notice.
All right.
The game will be unpausing shortly. We only expect a small delay on the side of this, roughly around 3 minutes. But at least at this point, you can still see that Beep Boop has been just dominant in every single lane, playing super aggressive, getting this next dragon down. I mean, it's not going to be a quick dragon stacking just because all did manage to grab the first one. But, I mean, the way they've been playing their lanes and the advantages they've managed to build up is going to be very difficult to fight. So now it's going to be on Team Beep Boop whether they can close cleanly and how effectively they are going to be able to manage this mid game.
That is very, excuse me, that is very true. And with this Infernal Dragon, it's actually going to give Team Beep Boop a lot of what they need. Because if you look, when you look at Ashe, she's not very hyper carry-ish, especially against a Jinx. Doesn't really match too well in damage. So with a lot of what Team Beep Boop are lacking, this Infernal Drake is going to give them a little bit of that back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this does look like this is an... I'm not even sure. Is this an Infernal? Is this an Infernal or a Mountain?
It's Infernal.
They look the same when they're paused, but in the... In the event, I mean, you see the items being built up, all mythics across the board except for on the Thresh and the Volibear. Volibear definitely has enough gold for it when he does return to base. So just the early aggression is going to be there. And frankly, for Team Beep Boop, I'm really going to be looking to see whether or not they can show some dominance in how they close. I mean, when you're ahead, getting ahead is one thing, but they're really contending to be a top spot in this league. So how they manage to play the mid game and wrap this game up, I mean, this game should in theory be done by 26 minutes if they're playing effectively. So we're now going to put Team Beep Boop on their own scheduled timer to see whether or not they're going to be able to perform at this level.
You know what? I like to hear that. Let's see if Team Boop can do it. They are 5-1, one of the two teams in the league holding the top with Yubi actually. And with that being said, if we take a look at this top lane, Jaffe is miles ahead of Min Min. We've seen that. We've seen it already. We've seen it in action. But that's actually going to be a huge problem for Art of War Esports to try to get back into this game. As we do head back into the game, they will pick up the dragon. It's going to be extremely hard for them to get back into this game because one of the easiest ways for a team that's behind to sort of get themselves back into the game is by split pushing. And it's not every day you see something, or excuse me, as we do get a little bit of a we do get a little bit of a freeze going on, but we're back. It's not every day you see this sort of a situation with Jaffe on the Tryndamere and him being so far ahead. It's not going to give AWE a lot of ways to split push and get themselves back into this game. However, with that being said, Jaffe is being forced to burn out the Undying Rage. Is going to go down to the Jinx Rocket, and that was really well, but they're actually going to trade that in the mid lane, diving Seaborg, who does get the Lissandra ulti. Turret is disabled. That is going to be Ashe ult expended perfectly, beautifully timed on Seaborg, and they're going to trade that kill beautifully. They're not going to be able to get the top lane tower just yet. It is going to be close. I do believe they have one plate to go, but in the mid lane, they should be able to push this, and actually, no, it's going to be the opposite. They're not going to be able to get the mid tower, but they do get top tier 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Jaffe gives us one per game to see whether or not he's gonna give over a senseless death. I mean, that one you are playing against the overload. Your entire team is bot side. You need to be more concerned, even on the Trendemir, that they are going to be able to dive you. 3 is very easy to navigate the tower aggro, and you did see All did do a very good job at effectively doing that. So good on Yon Yon also for him being the kind of a light in the dark tunnel for Team All
Right.
right now, and he is the one who did grab that kill.
Right as I was hyping Jaffe up too, I caster cursed at him.
I mean, you could say he's like Summit. You know, Summit is in the LCS, best top laner in NA, and he gives us one every game too. So, well, a single int from a top laner is basically par for the course at this point.
I guess that is true. That is true to say. And so far, we have one on each of the top laners. So, I mean, that is coming into fruition so far. Seaborg holding up the top lane against Jaffe right now as we got Min on the bot lane. Hasn't been able to get too much. Is getting a little bit of CS, cutting down the 40 CS lead to a little less than 40 or a little less than 30.
Yep, not massive, and it is closing as Jaffe is going to look to do this, but Root's going to be there and R's also available. This is not a matchup where Trendemir can just run down Alessandra, so a lot of damage coming through, but he's not going to be super concerned with that Bloodlust being able to heal him out.
We got players from both teams coming up into this top lane. Bax and Crims, both the junglers and supports are here to duke it out. They are throwing this out. There is a Jinx Rocket and a TP coming from the side of AWE, so they do have numbers advantage. The AWE is going to be able to pick up the first in the top lane. Kills Trendemir, bursting out the eye, or Undying Rage is going to go down. And meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, while Jinx was looking top lane for that rocket, Ashe was able to solo kill. But with that being said, AWE are alternatively going to be able to push off Team Beat Boop from the top lane, but unfortunately, with Yon Yon getting solo killed in the mid lane, is going to pick up that mid tier 1.
Yep, still advantageous for Team Beat Boop, navigating that team fight in a disjointed way in the top side. Rulu were kind of saving it by getting that solo kill in the mid, but we did see Dax with some fancy feet dodging the hook that would have most likely led to his death. So well done on that part, and they're still going to get the rewards with being able to take this top tier 1.
Definitely so. That is going to be all three tier 1s gone from AWE. They're at a huge deficit right now. It's amounted to 6,000, and they are starting up Rift Herald number 2. Antunes taking a fat hit from Jace. Still does Jace things, regardless of whether he's ahead or behind. It's going to be the same champion regardless, taking a lot of health from Antunes. They're going to ward them off the Rift Herald, but it shouldn't amount to too much. I feel like they can just re-engage on this here in just a second. But AWE are making a proactive call to push the mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, absolutely. The picture of consistency right now, and with the mid lane tier 1 getting pressured out, I mean, should be a sign that the game is going to be slowing down for a little bit. This transition into the game as Jaffe's just going to get this free split push. I don't think there's going to be enough time to stop him, as he is going to opt to run away, and Seaboard has those slows, so that's a lot of damage that was just put into this Trendemir.
My lord. Good Everfrost, too, to lock him up for a little bit more damage coming out from Seaborg. And like I said, this Trendemir, no matter what happens in this game, he's going to be able to apply that pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of a sign of, old Lissandra would have 100% had the AP to one-shot the Trendemir there. But with these new items and just the way AP scaling works now, it's really, really difficult for Lissandra to solo 1v1 someone. Or even with her ultimate, if she would have committed her ultimate, that's a lot of damage. It's not going to be able to 100 to 0. So it's kind of just been that situation. As here's the dash in.
Jaffe going back over the wall, ready to kill Seaborg, with Seaborg getting a good glacial path out of there. 1 HP and a dream for Seaborg as he's defending this bot tower with his life, literally.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. But Jaffe is going to get the rewards. Still playing. As Anthony's going to burn his stopwatch. We noticed that. But he's still going to get the rewards. Jaffe once again getting the pressure out and is going to be able to grab this tier 2. So that is yet again more gold headed over to the side of Team Beat Boop, as now they're going to be running to sprint to this Herald, but it looks like they're going to opt to give it up because there's just not enough time to make it over there.
Second Rift Herald is factually a little less valuable than the first one, so they're not too too harsh on giving that one up. They're just going to let them have it for free. Jaffe still pressuring off Seaborg, who still picking up the scraps of what happened to him just earlier. Did lose the tier 2, didn't lose his life though.
Yep, no, didn't lose his life. Was able to stay alive. The safety from the Lissandra has been very key to at least not giving over a bunch of deaths to Jaffe. He hasn't gotten snowballed through kills, but he has maintained a really high amount of CS, and this is kind of where Trendemir wants to be, where he can just navigate any lane he wants to and be kind of constantly pressure these towers.
And despite winning lane super hard, he doesn't even have to be super far in kills to be able to do this. I think that was really well played from Luru, picking up Seaborg before he could get the Glacial Prison on himself. Very, very well played. They're going to be able to pick up a free Lissandra and make their way, I'm assuming, into the mid side, but with pings, they are actually spotting out Crims and are looking to get the blue objective. It looks as they're collapsing 4 people on Crims's blue buff.
Yeah, absolutely. Credit where it's due. If the Lissandra hadn't died to that last auto, that would have been the prediction from Antunes getting the hook, as that is on to Min's cape, very slightly being able to make it out.
Lord. Oh my word, Antunes with the hooks today are insane. Speaking of which, Oriri gonna go right into the wall. Flayed flashed out with the, wow. Putting up the box as well just for safety. Antunes does get out with his life. This is looking a little crazy from Beat Boop. They're not being very proactive with their lead. They're actually looking for they're looking for a lot more minor things, which isn't too good. It gives AWE a chance to, gives AOE or AWE more of a chance to get back into this game as we head into 20 minutes. Good. Oh, just barely missed the Everfrost. Still gets the damage onto Jaffe up in the top lane. And they're popping Rift Herald number 2 onto the mid wave. They're going to get themselves an objective bounty off of that. So not only do they get the turret gold, but they get an extra 100 for their troubles.
Yeah, absolutely. Now this one should not get a second charge. Oh, actually will get it. The last auto didn't hit the eye in time, but yeah, I mean, at least for B-Boop can take away that their skill shot dodging has been on point. Antunes did manage to maintain his life. We'll be able to have some good fancy footwork on that last one. But with package taken up from Pee-wees, this is a lot of pressure, and that's going to be men getting forced out. And they are just going to be going to the Baron. So here's some proactivity for you.
That is what I asked for. That is what we're seeing. They're denying another objective from them. What using their, what is that now? 7,000 gold lead. Jinx ult coming in just a little too early, unfortunately. Oh, but that actually is stolen by Crims. But they're going to be able to clean this one up. Baby is going to be able to take a little bit of gold back from that. But Crims, with a flash over the wall, is going to be able to secure themselves the Baron. Min Min is the only one that has it up. Triple kill from Corki to take it all back. That was really well played, denying that from them. I don't know if it's going to amount to much because they still should be able to open up the base with this push. 20 seconds on death timers now. Really, really well played from Crims to deny that, but also really well played from P-Sweezy, picking up a triple kill for himself.
Absolutely. I mean, the glorious Baron flip is always the one we wait to see. 4 Barons being taken up intelligently, not taking the inhib. There is not enough pressure on the map to really be able to take use out of it. The mid inhib is the worst inhib in the game to take. So really smart on to their part to do so. And, Dax just thought he was going to be able to get the Baron flip. I mean, it's always a risk when you do it, but they're so far ahead at this point. I mean, there's going to be a lot that's going to be needed for Art of War Esports to manage to make it back in.
Definitely so. AWE getting caught on. P-Sweezy, good ward, spotting him out, is going to be able to go down. 700 gold going into Min's pocket. They're going to be able to push down mid themselves and pick up another objective bounty on the tier 2 mid lane. That is really good for AWE in efforts to get back into this game. The gold lead is still pretty thick. It's actually getting a little thicker for Baby right now, 9,000 ahead, but it's going to be evened out by that objective bounty. Hook on to Crims isn't going to amount to much, and they're going for more on the mid tier 3. They're not going to be able to do anything much on this. They have Baron, they have the cannon hitting it, but they're going to opt to walk to the Mountain Drake coming up in 15 seconds.
I mean, yeah, but Jaffe was just on the top side, split pushing his way to the glory, as this is an inhibitor open. He's going to go for the all-in. Oh. And he's not going to get the R off.
Doesn't even get the Undying Rage, but there's a team fight going on in the bot side. Jungle, Dax is going to be going down to Crims. Antunes taken very low. Flash from Lissandra to pick that one up. Jinx Rocket going wide. AWE winning the team fight on both fronts. Jace TP to be with his team is half health, but it's not going to matter too much because this Mountain Dragon and a third objective bounty, 4th actually if you count the Baron, is going to go over to them. Oriri, Hex flashing over the wall. See if he can pick up a quick Corki. Isn't going to amount to anything. This game has become a lot closer than it was before.
Yeah, absolutely. Some lack of judgment from the side of Beep Boop, giving over some free kills, getting punished for their aggression. But and they're still in a good spot, so we're not going to overhype it yet. But just the cleanliness isn't exactly there. But I mean, with Jaffe looking for the solo kill, if he would have gotten that kill onto Jace, is a good shot. He actually could end the game. So good 1v1 to take, just wasn't able to get the outplay.
Very, very close. Didn't pop the R. Does go down to Min. Team on the other side of the map does go down, give over a dragon. Not looking too good. Would be a little tilting if your team beat Boop. I'm sure that they have they have they have it in them to keep it together. They're still up 6,000 gold. It's not as close as they think it is right now, especially after all they've given. Jaffe holding two people in the bot lane right now. Riri and Seaborg looking to pressure off Jaffe, who is going for another lane push.
Yeah, 5-man stack on the bot side looking for Jaffe, not wanting him to continue to get this push on. But this is a 4-man shove on the top side. They're going to need to be concerned. They're going to have to match this soon, as Tryndamere is going to try to do his best to sync up these waves. But it's going to be a little bit disjointed, not super fast on the push yet. But this 4-man stack only benefits Team Beepu if they're able to just get safe poke and prevent this all-in engage, which is not very much without Lissandra being there.
Oh, good damage on a P-Sweezy, taking him down to half. Min going in is going to be, jumped out of there. Dax is taken very low. Sterix is popped. Seaborg with the root is going to be able to pick him up. We got Antunes on the wings. Yon taken very low. Luru almost getting that ulti on him. Double kill from Seaborg is going to back for Jaffe, and they're going to be able to pick up P-Sweezy. 3 on Beep Boop go down. Jaffe is going to try to take an inhib for their troubles, and he will succeed this time. We do have Seaborg, who is waiting in the wings. We're getting a little bit of a replay on this really quickly if we want to break down this team fight first.
This is just a good angle coming in from the side of Arbor Esports. They see where the push is coming from. Min is going to be around the side, unable to be engaged on. Beautiful pillar is going to come out from Grimes in just a moment. He does get the pillar, basically force out the Volibear ultimate right away, and then he's still being drained by the subjugate, so all that damage is just going to be amplified as Seaborg comes in and gets the free pick on the side, and now they're just completely split. Antunes is on the side by himself, unable to get matched. The last hook is going to land, and that's going to be Corky dropping 3 people already in the body chamber. But with inhibitor being given over, I mean, Luru did manage to stop a few backs also, and I don't believe he's going to look for a kill as he's going to opt to go for this recall. But Jaffe did get what he wanted, and this is the base completely just in shambles with all his inhibs open as Yan is just going to find himself dead.
Oh no, that's not the person they needed to fall. It's all good though. He is going to come up for Baron. Baron will not be up by that time. Jaffe, oh my good lord, holding the ultimate for next game, is going to go down to Min, not respecting the amount of damage that Min does. Min, with 2 items and a fully stacked tier with more lethality to come through, does so much damage. And Jaffe, I mean, despite what we just saw there, is doing exactly what I thought he was going to do with AWE trying to get back into this game. He's just going to be pressuring the opposite side of the map in hopes to secure something for his team. Is going to be a pressure. It could potentially result in him ending the game at some point in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. He did find his way in. No teleport is going to be there other than onto P-Sweezy, though, so that is going to be good news for the side of Art of War. But, I mean, Jaffe is kind of in the situation where he can split push the rest of the game, and it's going to be very difficult to match him. But Min is already at the point where he has the items to really be able to contest this Tryndamere and actually be able to safely farm, if not get and prevent the dive. Because when Jace gets all these items and actually has the gold in, you can see how much damage he can put out with just a few abilities.
AWE 0-6, final day of the first round robin. They want to get themselves on the board. This is how we do it. Only 5,000 gold down. They've knocked it down from 8. Dragon coming up in 1:20. Baron coming up in 5. Will AWE be able to pull this one together? This is the closest that I have ever seen, because AWE's games, despite being 0-6, have always been somewhat close, but never like this.
They do have some decent win conditions. They have managed to navigate themselves into a port position into the map where they can at least look to contest. Is here comes the Baron flip, so this is just the opportunity to go for broke.
With the Jinx doing so much damage to it already, they're pretty far from it. Oriri doing a little bit of zoning. They're going to jump off the Baron and get right onto Dax. They're going to melt him. P-Squeezy in the back. Isn't going to be able to get a flank angle. Seaborg is going to go down 1-for-1 so far. Ash putting in a bunch of damage to Yon Yon, and the package is going to be able to pick him up. P-Squeezy in the back doing as much as he can. Is going to pick up another triple at the Baron. Min Min trying to get out as fast as he can, but it is not going to amount to anything. They are going to be able to end this game. So close from AWE. They tried their hardest. Are going to go 0-7. Beep Boop with the final team fight of the game was able to duke it out and win it for themselves. It was looking pretty rough there when Dax went down, but that was beautifully played from Ash and Corky.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Ansune saved the game with the hook onto Lissandra, pulling her in, getting those autos out, and just allowing herself to die without getting ultimate available. And once that tool is gone, I mean, there was just nothing else that AEW had in the tank to survive.
So unfortunate for AWE as they were so close to getting on the board with their first win. I was hoping for them, I really was. Beep Boop coming out strong, still 6-1, still at the top 2 teams. Very, very well played. And I do want to look at some damages here because, wow. I've just been given word that the client is broken and there is no damage to be shown. With that being said, though, I do want to talk a little bit about this. I really liked what I saw from Min that game. What do you think, Found?
I mean, when you're for a game that was basically first place versus last, I mean, AWE definitely put up a valiant effort. You can see that their shot calling does improve a little bit in the late game. They do know how to team fight and actually be able to get some damage out and actually protect their vision. A good pick onto Dax. If that hook hadn't landed, you could see how that game could have easily changed if Seaborg managed to get a good ultimate off. But, I mean, you can... on the back end of that, you can still see the areas of improvement. They have to improve their laning phase. And just every game is going to be so difficult if you're coming out of lane so far behind. And that's kind of what Beep Boop coasted on, because this was definitely one of their more sloppy games when it comes to their macro.
I would have to agree, but with all that being said, Team Beep Boop are able to take game 1 of the night, 6-1 record. Unfortunate for AWE ending at 0-7. Stay tuned for an interview with our winners, and we will be right back with game number 2 of the night. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, folks. Chris Edgeworth here with our first interview tonight, and I'm joined by Antunes of the victorious Team Beat Boop, better known as Baby. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing excellent. Let's talk a little bit about the game that we just saw and what your folks' thoughts were coming into this last matchup of the round robin. No two ways about it. It's a team on top versus a team on bottom. I felt like you folks had a pretty straightforward, respectful draft, even with the Trendamere even being in this. I would say I don't think you guys were trolling it in the draft. Jeff might beg to differ with the build path on the Ash, but I'll let him try that case. Talk to me a little bit though, if you would, about the draft you folks put together and what you ended up against.
Alrighty, so it's quite unfortunate how part of our esports had the 2 ban laws. They could have put out few more bans and made draft a little bit harder in a sense. Probably could have banned out the Thresh or the Volley Bear and all that stuff. But leaving out those important picks and stuff is just kind of easy on our end, where it's it's on comfort and stuff. So me being on Thresh allows us to have a lot of utility in a sense, where I can do roams and stuff and throw out lantern and stuff. So yeah, the Tryndamere was kind of a last second type call, thinking if the matchup was well, we are gonna put Jaffe on it to give him at least 1 game this season for it.
Fair enough. Yeah, it looked like he played it out pretty well. I especially like the level 1 aggro, cheesing the Jace, just literally slapping him at level 1 with Ignite and getting on it. It was pretty solid. Unfortunate game to go up against that for Min, but he honestly came back a little bit. He's kept his head above water for sure. So shouts out, tip of the hat to Min on that one. Let's talk about your gameplay in this one. It was the Hook City matchup, looking at the Nautilus into the Thresh on your part, as you say, because of their bans. Maybe it got through because of the ban loss, but it ends up in your hands. A champion you're well known for. And I just, what are your thoughts overall on how these lanes played out for the two of you? And then, if you can give us a little bit of an insight about your special stopwatch technology that you pull off to style in the river.
Alright, about the whole stopwatch thing. So sometimes during games, I play with magnets and stuff. So the magnet got stuck to my keyboard and then kind of accidentally hit the number 2 button.
God, bro.
So it kind of happened. I play with magnets once in a while throughout the game. In regards to the laning phase and stuff with the Riri and stuff, honestly, it was fun to play against him. I felt like I just know how to play Nautilus, and it's really easy to counter him and how to play against it. So I was able to sneak probably a few hooks in lane where Riri didn't really catch hit through the wave and stuff, where Dax came down to gank bot. So I felt it was a pretty easy matchup from my end on how the lane works and stuff.
And I was gonna say about the lane matchup thing when Dax was giving you folks attention, but I do want to Crims was also trying to put attention towards that bot side too. He was always a step behind Dax, so there's multiple plays that you folks were making the play onto them, and literally Crims is oh, never mind, I guess I'm not going down there.
Yeah, it was kind of unfortunate for Crims to be stuck in that tri-bush bot lane, and then Dax just hit the vision ward, and then I kind of just hooked him, and he just died there.
Yeah.
So we had pretty good vision that game, and catched a few people off guard.
All right. Well, I mean, if you could give me some insight actually before we go forward, that game was looking very solidly in your folks' favor early on in the game, and then towards the mid game, they look to start having some agency on the map. You have some of the items coming online, some of these key items coming online for some of these champions. I mean, we saw Jace straight up pop Jaffe at one point. I don't think he was really expecting that because he got stuck with the R for next game, holding on to that ultimate. So, just generally, what were your thoughts through the mid game here as things were starting to, I'm not going to say get out of control, but, it was looking like they were starting to make some actionable plays.
So basically, after we lost that Baron smite stuff, I felt like I could have used my body a bit more and stuff, but I kind of respected that there was more bodies on coming towards, so I kind of had to respect that. After that, we just kind of took it one play at a time. We respected. They lost a bunch of Baron buffs. Once they took it, it was just I believe Jace that had it still. And then we just kind of played towards Jaffe was on Tryndamere. We just kind of let him split push, and then that's kind of how like the inting kind of started top lane. So it's kind of a strat, an inting strat to help like get Jaffe to like get that inhibitor bot lane.
So this is all high-level 7-dimensional mahjong. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that insight. I appreciate it. Definitely wasn't you folks just eating a bunch of CC that you didn't mean to and not dodging it. I do have to tip my hat to Seaborg. That was actually like legit clean on that
Yeah.
that one fight. He got the ultimate into the Everfrost over it, and I was just like,
Yeah. Yeah, he
love
played
that.
really. Well, they played really well that game.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, Antunes, before we step away, I do want to get your thoughts overall on this round robin. What were your thoughts on how things went for you folks, given your success, and who you're looking forward to matching up again?
So we were quite, you could say, like upset about losing against UB and stuff. So we're really looking forward to that next matchup, hoping to pull a dub in that. I'm looking forward to play against Art of War again, but hopefully like Slowbro will be able to play because I really want to play against him again. I haven't played against him. I don't know. It's been a few seasons actually.
Oh, that would be a classic matchup for us
And-
FOF boomers.
Exactly. Love playing against familiar faces and stuff.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, Antunes, congratulations, and congratulations to Team Beat Boop as well on this very successful end of the first round robin, ending up 7-1. Before we step away, though, any last final thoughts that you'd like to leave with us?
Well, if Jeff God Gamer is watching or listening, if you want to know how to play Ashe, you should probably message Luru on that one.
There you have it, folks. Those are the facts. That's going to be it for this interview, folks. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back with action for Game 2 of the day. So don't go anywhere.
Ça fait un tout vraiment magnifique, même adulci les m'ayant planté là, c'est à moi que chante tout ça.
Mr. Bam will stay behind, and he will perform one of the most popular piece of music in Asia, especially in Asian heritage. 999 roses. Let's give him a big round of applause once again for the performance.
A little bit of light, trying to find my heart. Honey, when I break out a lifestyle dark. Honey, when I write, get a tight flow spark. With a psycho chart, playing dice, go starter. Who are you? Better know yourself. Know your soul, gotta know your wealth. Slow your roll, get a hold, don't melt. And don't you fall when I feel like hell. Well, who am I? Am I and me? I'm not the one you wanna fuck with. Late nights messing up my sleep, so I'm flustered. Taking out aggression with my pen because I trust it. Writing, trying to get myself a lamb color cut for the game. Leave him hanging by his chain. Click, bang, feeling rage, feeling fire in my brain, feel insane, and it's story, feel the flame, 45 to my brain, praying for it, please fail, no glory. Taking out aggression with my pen because I trust it. Fighting, trying to get myself a lamb color custard.
Remember, I used to be that kid that every day would get rejected. Y'all got my story, the glory was painted on a song. I'm mortified but feel immortal. This pen to this paper always open up different portals. It's I and me.